Yes, fresh off of one little Golden Debate show that ended up turning out to be a full one. Here's the second Golden Debate show, and then we're off to the Golden Show. EarlyMorningMod.com. Like, comment, share, and download. Let's do it. I'll flip a virtual point to that. We're off and running.
The golden debate show. The golden debate show. Yeah, the golden debate show. Oh, wow. Golden debate show. Talk about this, talk about that. The golden debate show. Yeah, the golden debate show.
Down there, one of those tentacles. This other guy.
Starting off like an asshole.
This don't make no sense to everybody.
Rain, go away. Rain, go away. Come again another day. Little Johnny wants to play. Little Johnny wants to play.
Oh, shit.
Rain, go away. Rain, go away. Come again another day. Little Johnny wants to play.
This
Little
other guy,
Johnny
what they
wants
look
to
like, I
play.
don't know. This don't make no sense to everybody.
Little Johnny wants to play. Little Johnny wants to play.
If you've been hearing that extreme cold spells, like the one that we're having in the United States now, disproves global warming, don't believe it. The fact is that no single weather episode can either prove or disprove global climate change. Climate is the pattern of weather that we observe geographically and over the seasons, and it's described in terms of averages, variations, and probabilities. But a growing body of evidence suggests that the kind of extreme cold being experienced by much of the United States as we speak is a pattern that we can expect to see with increasing frequency as global warming continues. And the reason is this. In the warming world that we're experiencing, the far north, the Arctic, is warming roughly twice as rapidly as the mid-latitudes, such as the United States. That means that the temperature difference between the Arctic and the mid-latitudes is shrinking. And that temperature difference is what drives what is called the circumpolar vortex, which is the great counterclockwise swirling mass of cold air that hovers over the Arctic. As the temperature difference between the Arctic and the mid-latitudes declines, the polar vortex weakens, and it becomes wavier. The waviness means that there can be increased, larger excursions of cold air southward, that is into the mid-latitudes, and in the other phase of the wave, increased excursions of relatively warmer mid-latitude air into the far north. Computer models tell us that there are many different factors influencing these patterns. And as in all science, there will be continuing debate about exactly what is happening. But I believe the odds are that we can expect, as a result of global warming, to see more of this pattern of extreme cold in the mid-latitudes and some extreme warming in the far north.
Politics Nation Science Lab of the new year. In the lab tonight, a right-wing meltdown over global warming. A winter storm is battering much of the country, and climate change scientists were stuck in ice. Which means the folks over at Fox have been trotting out a few theories of their own. Check it out.
So it looks to me like we're looking at global cooling. Forget this global warming.
And get this, a global warming Scientologist had to be removed from his frozen vehicle after days of being trapped. Poetic just as much?
Because for the past 16 years, there has been no warming to speak of.
They called it unusually thick ice. Well, I think it's because they're unusually thick people who have not been paying attention to the actual science on global warming for the past 18 years and still think that we're all about to roast like a chestnut on open fire.
Don't think that it's,
These right-wingers are boiling over with denial. Just because it snows in winter doesn't mean the planet isn't getting warmer. Remember, a UN panel said there's a 90% probability that humans are the primary cause of global warming. And over 97% of climate researchers surveyed in the United States Academy of Science agrees. It sure doesn't take much for the folks at Fox to hit their melting point. The results of tonight's experiments are in. And we've deduced the right wing could use a new talking
and that's
point.
why I could not be more excited
has been a special
to be part
edition.
of the Yahoo team.
Katie, could you tell us a little bit? Yes, I'm really.
Katie's down with Yahoo. That's Katie Cook.
Could you tell us a bit more about some of what you're hoping to do?
Well, I think one of the most exciting things for me personally about the opportunity at Yahoo is it really is a blank slate. As many of you know, I really enjoy interviewing. So I'm very excited the prospect of interviewing newsmakers, politicians, sports figures, philanthropists, all kinds of different people, obviously tech leaders, social entrepreneurs, authors, and really anyone who we believe has an important and interesting story to tell. And since we live, as Marissa has talked about, in such a fragmented media world, the extraordinary global reach of Yahoo is tremendously exciting, not only for me, but for potential interview subjects. And we're also in the process, Marissa, of reimagining, I think, how we can take both original and curated content and deliver it in a much more thorough and useful way, particularly on mobile devices. So all those things are very exciting, and I can't wait to get started.
I can't wait either, and I'm excited to see your first interview.
He's a jackass.
Thanks, Katie.
All right. Thanks, Marissa. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Thanks, everybody.
Jobs, and jobs. As India's 1.2 billion people, one innovative company sees that as a business opportunity and has launched a new service providing clean water at low prices. NHK World's Neha Gupta reports.
In an Indian shanty town like this, water comes not from a tap, but on the back of a truck. Local residents rush to fill their water tanks. Only 35% of Indian communities are connected to water infrastructure. The problem is even worse in rural areas, where 70% of the population lives. Women shuttle back and forth getting water for their families. A typical home of 5 uses some 20 liters each day. But the water they collect isn't always safe to drink. The World Health Organization says 530,000 people die each year in India from dehydration
Has radiation
caused by
from
diarrhea.
Japan's Fukushima plant finally
Unclean
reached
water
California's
is most
coastline?
often
One
to
viral
blame.
video on YouTube says it has. Reporter Ryan Takeo on what looks like alarming radiation levels and the real story behind it.
Here I am on the bluff.
The reading was taken on Pacifica State Beach just before Christmas.
Jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
The video's creator uses a Geiger counter to measure radiation. As he walks toward the water, the Geiger counter shows the radiation increasing 5-fold. The video started popping up on the Facebook news feeds of people like Katrina Martin. The link came with an ominous headline.
Fukushima radiation hit San Francisco.
Martin has seen her friends' comments on social media. They're worried the increased radiation levels are caused from the Fukushima nuclear plant after the 2011 earthquake.
Someone going around for the first time with a Geiger counter is likely to discover these great variations in levels from time to time.
UC Berkeley professor Edward Morse says the radiation levels are naturally occurring.
That's absolutely no correlation with anything that happened in Fukushima.
To prove his point, he brought out these rocks that tested off the charts for radiation. He thinks something like this could have caused a spike in the video.
Sort of the levels we're dealing with here.
Berkeley resident Gene Herman does not think we ought to dismiss concerns about radiation.
And if it does, and it gets worse.
An Iowa man is sharing the results of an experiment. What would happen if he ate nothing but McDonald's for 90 days? And the answer may surprise you. High school teacher John Cisna took these before and after pictures. The one on the left, where he's thinner, was taken after 3 months of eating McDonald's. He lost almost 40 pounds. His students devised daily menus based on a 2,000-calorie diet and the daily recommended amounts of fat, calories, carbohydrates, and protein.
This isn't something to say, well, he only went to McDonald's and ate salads. I had the Big Macs. I had the Quarter Pounders with cheese. I had Sundays. I had ice cream cones, orange juice.
Cisna also started walking every day, which no doubt helped, too. He says the point of the experiment was to show making wise nutritional choices works even at a place like McDonald's.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Yeah, golden, early, golden, kryptonite, what? Yeah, right, yeah. I'm gone, the golden show. Yeah, golden show. Wrapping up and stacking dough. The golden like some green gold. Now you know it's pretty gold. Big stacking, make the fucking club go. This shit inferno. Burn down the walls, yo. Better make sure that shit is clean. Cause I'm jumping in the booth like I'm jumping in the shit. And I'm gone.
Jobs, and jobs.
Who the fuck's next?
Jobs, and jobs.
We didn't go for Flipping on my dough like stacking up in cold times. And you don't want jobs, better up shit, looking like a bank vault. Gold on my mind, cause they fucking choked up. And you don't want none of me to show control. I'm locked up by your cat stuck with the milk controller.
And jobs, let's vote.
You ain't met no ill though. Hustle status, all these vampires, yo. Too much inspire off this shit like fire.
And the milestone set by President Today is their 69th anniversary, making them the longest married first couple in American history. Here's their wedding day album and a milestone set by former President George Herbert Bush and his wife Barbara. Tonight. Today is their 69th anniversary, making them the longest married first couple in American history. Here's their wedding day album. And they are reportedly having a low-key celebration at home tonight after Mrs. Bush was released from the hospital, and we congratulate them.
Blindsided, President Obama's former defense secretary, Robert Gates, takes on his old boss, the man who awarded him the Medal of Freedom, in a blistering new memoir. This morning, what may have made him turn.
President Obama's decision to keep George Bush's defense secretary, a Republican, has now blown back on the White House. In Bob Gates' new memoir, Duty, the former CIA and Pentagon chief calls the Obama White House the most centralized and controlling since the Nixon years. Gates gave no hint of his resentment when he left the cabinet 2 years ago, and President Obama awarded him the Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor.
We're not just talking about what is. We're talking about your awareness of what is. Your awareness of what is, your sort of opinion of why what is as what is. Your conversations with others about what is. Your disappointment with what is. Like that. And so as you observe what is trains you into a frequency that doesn't allow what is to shift. into what is wanted. Now, if what is what is wanted, then what into what is wanted. Now, if what is what is wanted, what is wanted, what is wanted, what is wanted, then observation is wonderful. Observation is a wonderful gift. Then observation is a wonderful gift. And we are encouraging you to make lists of the positive aspects of what surrounds you, to count your blessings, don't look over here. Nothing to see. Acknowledge the things, to get on rampages of appreciation, to acknowledge the things that please you. But if there are aspects of what is that are not pleasing you, then observing and conversing and remembering and beating the drum off just practices a vibration. And that's what we mean when we say you are not controlling your vibration as well as you could, because you're letting what is dominate your vibration. And you don't have to, because you have the power of selective thinking. You have the ability to focus. You have the ability to weigh the pros and the cons and to focus more on the pros. You have the ability to look for solutions even when a problem is surrounding you. You could look for solutions even when a problem is surrounding you. You could be solution-oriented in the middle of a problem. Jerry and Esther built a magnificent house in San Antonio. And it's one of those crazy, high-tech houses with touch panels around. And the house seems to have a mind of its own. And so there was an electrical storm the other night, and some of the systems stopped working. And it is not uncommon for us to come over and push a button and have the button not operate. So
keeps open minds not empty.
She knows that she
so these
should
next
be
clips after this, these next clips,
nice
3 in a row, are all about transhumanism.
And they always come
not down when I'm about raising your vibration and staying golden. But
they're nice to be
I do
with.
believe that these
nice
games
to
are
be nice to be with. There's no downside to that. But there's just something about the system continuing to not be working that is so annoying. It's just annoying because, after all, and certainly you would all agree with Esther, we don't encourage it, but you usually would. It's just not right. It shouldn't be this precarious. It shouldn't be this finicky. It should be more stable. It should be more stable. It should be more stable. Does that sound like a solution-oriented statement? It is not. It should be different than it is never a solution-oriented statement. It may be true. It should be. It should be, but the question is, can
one of
it
the top
be
shows
under
on
these
television
conditions?
today is the new CBS series Intelligence, about a government agent who has a neural interface or a computer planted into his brain so that he can connect wirelessly to the internet, making him a transhumanist super soldier. Do I need to point out that CBS's logo is an all-seeing eye? Yeah, the television show is wildly popular, the most watched new series, introducing the idea of transhumanism to the general public. While many people still believe that this is science fiction, this technology is rapidly approaching to become a scary reality, what is very most likely the mark of the beast, which the mentally enslaved mainstream media watching lost souls will line up for to accept. Ray Kurzweil is one of the big guys promoting this, who believes and is working towards becoming immortal himself, and kind of like the Lawnmower Man back in the 1990s, that film. He wants to upload his brain into the internet so that he can become God. And he works for Google. He has a lot of money and a lot of resources behind him. There's also a film coming out in the spring titled The Transcendence, starring Johnny Depp, that will again introduce the transhumanist technology to the masses. Now, again, Ray Kurzweil believes that he will become digitally immortal, uploading his brain and any others to the internet. Of course, Intel plans that computer chips in your brain will control computers by 2020. The technology known as BrainGate has been around for many years, where they have been implanting computer chips into people's brains so that they can connect to and operate computers. A technology that was researched and continues to be researched by basically torturing monkeys. This is a very real photograph of a monkey being tortured, having a neural interface that's BMI, a brain-machine interface, connected into his mind. So that's where this technology is being tested, just torturing animals. This is another real photo. Some of these photos were taken by an undercover agent, really an activist, who went into some of these computer labs that are doing this. And this is a photo of Jose Delgado. In the 1960s, he was implanting computer chips into cats, mice, and other animals, like a bull here, that he could then essentially control remotely. And so, it's becoming mainstream news. But again, most of the mainstream media consumers don't read any news other than celebrity.
There's a new film coming out this spring about transhumanism, starring Johnny
Depp. Quite a shock to them,
but they're going to line up for it
working towards
because
the
they
singularity.
want to become an immortal,
film's called
Transcendence.
because their brains. And in the film, Johnny Depp's character has an assassination attempt carried out against him by a resistance group who doesn't want this kind of satanic, demonic, Luciferian technology to be released on the public because they see it as a tremendous danger. Gee, I wonder why they would think that.
Down there in one of those
Johnny Depp's character is basically based on the very real
this don't make no sense to everybody.
Psycho Ray Kurzweil, who works for Google and plans to become an immortal god and upload himself, his brain, to the internet.
In the
next 30 or so years,
other guys that they
as
look
he
like
fears death and judgment
this don't make no sense
by
to
the
everybody.
Almighty God. This film is essentially a remake, a more modern remake of the 1992 film The Lawnmower Man, which back in the early 1990s seemed to be like science fiction, but now the more modern remake, Transcendence, is a very real and scary possibility, with clowns, demons like Ray Kurzweil leading the charge. Time magazine has warned, probably just will encourage people to get it, with this very realistic cover showing a neural interface, which means a computer, a BMI, a brain-machine interface, plugging you into the Matrix. Just the mark of the beast, which people will line up for. They just can't wait. Sony has patented a smart wig, so your mark of the beast will be so small. I mean, it may just be something you just stick on your head and might not even need to wire into your brain with any invasive surgery. Like the old-fashioned brain
IBM supercomputer, the one with the analytical software that beat human contestants on the game show Jeopardy! A few years back. Well, 3 years after the company began seriously marketing Watson as having the ability to learn, helping corporate clients tackle business and social problems, Watson is apparently struggling, smart as he is, to make money. Reports say total revenue was less than $100 million as of October, but IBM promises a major announcement about its Watson unit on Thursday, hoping finally that Watson is smart enough to make some bucks.
I'm going to T-Bone Burnett, who you know and love, said digital sound has dehumanized us, and it's taken away so much of what we hear without telling us.
He's correct in that. I think that the downfall in technology in the 80s when digital equipment started to come around really saturated music with really bad feelings and tones, and there's a analogy about analog versus digital. Analog is this: if you drop a needle or you magnetize a tape recorder and you record, you're dragging that pencil across the tape. Where digital is this. It doesn't matter how many samples you do per second, it's still that. There's empty space constantly. I think some people think it's psychologically fatiguing, which is a whole other story. But the idea is these scratches in this table, some people think that that's actually recording sound. If I scratch this table right now, it possibly could be recording what we're talking about right now.
So people didn't go rogue, they followed the rules, they patiently waited in line like
I think when I listen to analog recordings and digital recordings side by side, they don't have any warmth. They don't have any romance to them.
Good adults. Are you surprised at all by their behavior? Does it make sense to you?
Mechanics. I think once we get away from mechanics and mechanical things that turn on, we can actually watch. You can sing about an old phonograph. I can sing a song like phonograph blues.
certain districts that allow it.
iPod.
Is that the
why? Default is
and so you feel
but
about
at a district level, if you decide that
of course, it's the best form of attached to your you can take a needle and put it in a cup and listen to that music. And that's pretty amazing. And I don't think it was ever bested.
I mean, that is a landmark.
It may be more portable. No problem with that. I listen to an iPod in my car too.
Landmark. And we've talked about early why, for example, we legalized cell phone.
But it does mean that you say portability and access.
Where the cell is actually a systemic implement, right? So you have stores and your system is already in place. In Uruguay, there is
tracks to people.
Put another way, if we don't build smart,
so last time you were here,
if we don't build resiliency into communities, we're not going to be able to, in the next 2, 5, 10, 20 years, live along the coast. Manhattan is like much of my state. It is essentially at sea level. You don't have much of an option.
His new memoir,
Now, I know there's global
the former CIA and Pentagon chief calls the Obama White House the most centralized and controlling since the Nixon years.
The reality
While Gates praises President Obama's decisions on Afghanistan, he says the president didn't believe in his own strategy. Recalling after one meeting, I thought the president doesn't trust his commander, can't stand Karzai, doesn't believe in his own strategy, and doesn't consider the war to be his. For him, it's all about getting out. Gates is particularly tough on Vice President Biden, writing, I think he has been wrong on nearly every major foreign policy and not
nearly every key issue. In an apparent show of support for the vice president, officials invited news photographers into the leader's usually private weekly luncheon, and spokesman Jay Carney followed up.
Joe Biden has been one of the leading
and most disadvantaged neighborhoods.
Excellent people, hardworking people, and they do a great job for us. And it's a great job, and we're giving back to society, and I think that's a great thing.
Promote from within?
Promote from within.
Experts say besides recycling center jobs, many other jobs are created in remanufacturing of new products, such things as paper, cardboard, plastic items, fertilizers, and many more at substantially less cost than the same from raw materials.
Well, recycling has created almost 1 million jobs in the United States already, and we're only recycling about 34% of what we could be recycling.
And consider this, for every single job in a landfill.
And this is about the ability of people to challenge the constitutionality of the book surveillance. Check this out. This is written by Judge William Paul. Regarding the statutory arguments, there's another level of absurdity in this case. The ACLU would never have learned about the Section 54 authorizing collecting metadata related to its telephone numbers, but for the unauthorized disclosures by Edward
That's the top story from the 19th. Art Edwards, he's live at OHSU where the boy died despite desperate efforts to save his life.
Statutory schemes also make clear that Congress intended to bring suits by targets even if they discovered Section 215 orders implicating them.
It says the CDC is out with new flu numbers tonight, almost on schedule. It is getting worse. Fully half the states in the U.S. are now reporting widespread flu activity. This time, though, a lot of younger adults are getting hit by it. We get the story tonight from our chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Snyder.
Including the means and methods of
healthy in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, getting very sick with flu, usually with the H1N1 type of influenza.
Just a few weeks ago, the repercussions of the Snowden revelations continue, and the head of the NSA, Army General Keith Alexander, is stepping down next year, early next year, along with his deputy. And the joke in
the Golden Show, the music show.
I saw his performance on 1 hour of television. I thought he was terrific.
Well, he's stepping down to spend more time with his family, and the joke is he's stepping down to spend more time with his family, so he won't be spending it with yours.
Out of time.
Of surveillance.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this country. to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order. An order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
All that talking like this, like that.
Pieces of other animals' DNA in the meat and the 5-spice donkey meat.